Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of your weekly dose of Terraform. Well, you probably know my name, I don't have to repeat myself. I just want to say thanks a lot to, 10 people who gave feedback on my last episode, which was, 7 days ago. And it was pretty incredible to hear so different feedback. I mean, all of you said good things, but some of you said very good things, some of you said not so good things, but still I highly appreciate. Especially I want to say thanks for people who are grammar Nazi and who wanted to correct my pronunciation, and some people who said that my English is not so good. So yeah, that's really cool to have this kind of feedback. There were a couple of people who said that 1 hour is perfect, so I will try to limit my streams to be not more than 1 hour. I know that it's sometimes very hard to do, but anyway, I will give it a try. And also, I will try to understand what I'm saying and how to say it correctly in English. It's a little bit tricky sometimes because, as you know, English is not my native language. I'm from Ukraine, and I lived in Norway for, about 15 years. So I speak only English and, I speak Russian as well and Ukrainian, but that's another story. Okay, hello Igor. So, what this stream is gonna to be about? Well, I actually have mixed feeling what is this stream about. First of all, yes, it will be about serverless, about Terraform, and I will do some live coding. First thing first, okay? Let's go to this one. Yeah. So the sponsor of this stream is M0. And for those who don't know what they do, you can go to m0.com/Anton and then sign up for free trial. And essentially what they do is allowing you to execute your Terraform configuration in the pipeline. They support Terraform, TerraGrant, as well as custom workflows. And they provide a lot of features for small companies as well as for enterprises. Specifically, I want to highlight one press release which was published 9 days ago, but still it's kind of interesting. Is it M0 is focusing on enterprise grade infrastructure automation, and this is one of not many platforms which supports Terraform and TerraGrant, as well as some other infrastructure as code frameworks like Pulumi. So one more thing is great job by Tu Nguyen. Well, I think okay, yeah. Great job by educating people how to write modules and what kind of recommended patterns are there. I think I agree with most of things which were covered in this link. Which one is it? To learn more about which one? Well, I think this one is the right one. No, yeah, this one, right. So there are a lot of interesting things which you can read and you can actually understand it and definitely apply to your infrastructure. Specifically, how to figure out what is the scope of your module, what kind of patterns can be used, like encapsulation, privileges, volatility, as well as pretty good examples. So if you're new to Terraform modules creation and you have not seen anything like Terraform AWS modules or Cloud POSA modules, you may think that this is very hard to do and you don't know where to start. So I highly recommend to read this tutorial on learn.hashicord.com, and probably you can apply most of it. There are a few things which I kind of maybe not disagreeing, but I would implement it slightly different. But in general, everything what is here is great content. So please go and check it out, especially if you're new to Terraform and you don't know what to do because, well, there are so many options and you just lose control of what's going on. Yeah, sure. Actually, I can send this in chat. Well, where is chat? That's a tricky question. I see only reactions, but I don't know where to put. Well, maybe I have to go to YouTube and write it there. So if but I don't know where to put. I don't want to hear myself. Okay, so here is a link. Okay, well, what's next? Yeah, a couple pretty exciting things will be happening, and one is this. Yes, right. So yesterday there was release of Terraform 0.15 beta 2, which has few interesting things, but not something what we need to go through in details. If you use Terraform in automation, you should be interested in Terraform validate -JSON command. But other than that, there is not much what is really amazing. From what I have heard, 0.15 will be the last version before 1.0 general availability, which is, well, not scheduled, but there are no reasons to not have it before summer. So I'm kind of expecting it to be in pretty good condition by HashiConf EU, which is going to be in June. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, let's move on to announcement of the next episode. Some of you probably know what is Drift CTL. So Drift CTL is this product by CloudSkiff, and what they do is that they focus on detecting, tracking, and alerting on infrastructure drift. So you put it in your CI or into your into any kind of CI/CD flow, and it will tell you what is it, like what is drift, how is it actually happening. Why I'm saying this now is that I will be going through driftctl tool review because it has been quite a long time since last time I looked into some Terraform tools. So I will be looking into driftctl as a user and try to figure out whether this is what I want or maybe they are on absolutely wrong track. Again, it will be highly opinionated, so if you don't want your feelings to be heard, please don't attend. But if you want to know what I'm thinking about it, please join. And also there will be Stefan, who is here, right? So Stefan will be, Stefan is CTO of the company who is behind of this tool, and he will be joining me and he will be able to answer some of our questions. So again, if you're interested in driftctl or in drift detection, please join me next Friday for the live stream. Okay, so that was it. It was pretty straightforward thing. No really huge announcements going on. So what I want to do now is actually do some live coding, right? I mean, that's the whole point. If you have any interesting things about Terraform or maybe serverless or maybe serverless TF, or some of you may ask like, hey, why serverless TF exist? Don't hesitate to reach out and just raise your question in the chat and I will try to answer it during this live stream. For those who are not familiar with serverless TF and overall the approach, I want to kind of take a moment and explain why I'm doing this in first place, okay? And why not just pick up any serverless framework tool and here you are, and that's kind of that's a tool which was designed for serverless in first place, and I should be just going back to business and do something else. Well, in general, I would be able to do this, and I would really be glad to do this if there wouldn't be any challenges with existing solutions, right? So serverless framework as well as AWS Chalice or Zappa or a few other serverless framework exist for quite some time. But infrastructure management is something what we still have to have. I mean, I cannot just use serverless TF serverless framework and have all of my serverless infrastructure created as well as code. Well, I can, but then I'm gonna to be doing a lot of did I cover it here? No, I didn't. A lot of like low-level debugging, and it will be just a lot of JavaScript, a lot of low-level plugins which I have to do for unknown reason. So what I want to do is that I want to delegate the whole infrastructure management and serverless application deployment to Terraform while focusing on writing code and managing infrastructure. These two different things. So if you used a serverless framework before, you probably have been in this situation where you debug something for quite a long time, but you would rather spend this time doing something really, really useful. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Serverless.tf is a website, and there are a bunch of different modules already available for all kind of things like Lambdas, Lambda at Edge, AppSync, CloudFront, step functions, DynamoDB, and all of this stuff is there. Even code deploy is there. So you can go to repository or go to examples and see how things were designed, and yeah, you can just start using it. I want to say big thanks to supporters as well who are currently working on Event Bridge module. So we will have CloudWatch events or Event Bridge, which is the same name, added into this stack, and it will be possible to manage Event Bridge resources like targets, rules, and so on using Terraform as well. I mean, using Terraform modules. So for today, what I want to do, or let's revert a little bit back and see what I've been doing last. Okay, so for the last episode, or during the last episode, I know that Grammar Nazi will now correct me and say like, oh, I said this incorrectly. So I apologize once more for my English, which is far from perfect, but nevertheless, that's who am I. Okay, so we have folder called HashiTalks 2021. Okay, yes, you can see it here. So what I did last, let me kind of review briefly. So there are a bunch of different files and a bunch of invocation of different resources. Something like API Gateway, where I create just API Gateway and integrate it with some Lambda functions, with step functions. So last week, or last episode, I added specifically this block, and I tried to explain how the integration between HTTP API Gateway and step function works. So this was implemented, and there is not much what I think I can do. Well, there are a lot of things in general, but it's not so exciting, to be honest. And also I showed how step function module itself is implemented. So step function module has some definition where I define ACL, which is Amazon State Language .yaml. And then I can create the step function. I create a bunch of different IAM permissions. This is like the sweet point of this module, actually, because by specifying service integration, it is possible for me to create IAM roles as well as policies in very kind of nice way. Maybe not so nice if you look at this for the first time, but if you use it for several times, you will understand that it's actually a very small surface which you need to do. What is quite interesting, but I didn't cover it last time, is this file. So here I have YAML file, which is defining the whole state machine which I want to create. As you can see, it's very simple. Here I have just one task pointing to this Lambda function value. This value will be replaced because it is specified here as a map. So this Lambda function I ran will be placed here. But that's not actually a very easy way to work, right? I mean, writing this stuff, well, of course you can say that once you familiarize yourself and you figure out how to write all of these states and all of this will be just easy. Well, true from one point, but inside of IntelliJ, I don't actually know if there is plugin which is available for VS Code. In VS Code, AWS has created what is it called, like toolkit, AWS toolkit, yeah, this one. So there is AWS toolkit for VS Code, which allows us to work quite elegantly with step function. You can go to Visual Studio Code and find it there. But what I want to show to you guys is step fn.dev. This is actually the best way to figure out what you have to write inside of your definition file. So imagine that here you have your definition. Disregard that this is JSON, because you can always convert between JSON and YAML. Unfortunately, as of now, this tool does not support YAML. Well, maybe it does, but I don't think it does actually. So what you can do here is you can specify pretty much all your JSON file which describe state machine, and then you can specify function name like Unix, and this is actually your code. So by writing something here and by putting some sort of script here, which is in JavaScript, but it doesn't really matter because the end result of all this has to be a correct definition file, which you can then copy paste into your application. So it's quite easy way to debug definition. So for example, here we have Unix function and we have another Unix function, and then we have some of these functions, and the result should be something else. So if input is A and B, 55 and 66, and let's run it now. It says running. So here is the result. Result here is that first and second, these are two timestamps, and the sum of this is returned as a sum of these two timestamps. So that's exactly what this state machine definition has. So I think it's quite interesting to debug here and then write some simple functions here just to get it through this, and then you can copy paste it and continue execution it or using it in your Terraform code or in any other way. So there is a question, do you know when SNS first in first out will be available in Terraform? Well, yeah, that's extremely funny thing to see. I was actually looking into this another day myself, and what I found was if you go to this website and then if you sort by most reactions here, and this is where you have SNS first in first out. So what it means is that there are so many people who want this feature, and this feature is currently 243 likes, and it's extremely easy to implement it like this. I mean, we already have exactly the same implementation for SQS, and well, I think actually, yeah, I think it was me who added this support for SQS FIFO long time ago. I don't have so many contributions to this provider myself, but I think this was, or maybe I fixed something in this SQS FIFO like 2 or 3 years ago. It was, yeah, a long time ago. Anyway, as you can see, there are so many people wanting this, and as of now, yeah, there is not much going on. So as always, I personally have no clue when this will be implemented, but what we all can do is that we can go there and we can just upvote it and hope that it will land into the roadmap. If we go to the roadmap now, and maybe it's there already, SNS, no, SNS is not inside of roadmap. FIFO, no, FIFO is not there. Okay, so I don't see any reason why this service should not be implemented. I mean, why this feature is not merged yet. For me personally, it's big strange. I have no clue why this is taking so long time. Specifically this one, simple one. Maybe internal implementation is not so simple, so that's why we don't know. Okay, so let's move on. So what I want to do today is actually not related to step function, because step function itself is very hard to show how they work or like figure out this syntax like in general, because once you figure out what kind of definition you want, then you have to write a bunch of different Lambda functions or different other integrations, and that's it. There is not much what we have to do from Terraform point of view. I showed it already last time, so there is really not much to add. Though I want to go back to the code and explain a couple things which people asked me. Okay, so the first thing which I just remember right now is the reason why I specify integrations inside of maps and don't use Open API, which is, I guess, is like body, well, body or something. I don't remember what was the name of it. Let me just Terraform and then Terraform init. And then I can go to folder.terraform and look into the source code of Terraform AWS API Gateway module. Okay, so if I go to this API Gateway, well, there is no such thing. Probably my ID, yes, now it shows here. Okay, so talking about Open API specification, here it's called body, right? So if we go to the definition, yeah, so we can specify body as the whole specification for this HTTP API endpoint. If I go to example and then if I look here, so as you can see, I can specify integrations and use like all features of HCL, and it works quite nicely. But then if I want to have something like repeated, or if I want to manage this API specification using different other tools and then just export it into this API YAML file, I can specify body as well. I can also combine this body file with integrations map, which also work. Maybe there are some edge cases, but I have not seen any edge cases yet. So yeah, if you are into OpenAPI or Swagger, or you want to have it verified, you can definitely use body as well. So what else is here? Okay, let's go and do some coding. Okay, if you don't mind, of course. So what I'm gonna to do today is related to first let's run this infrastructure, and while it's doing something, I will explain what I want to do. I actually spent some time thinking about what exactly I can make during short stream like this one, so that it's actually informative and useful for many people. And honestly, I didn't figure out like a really interesting use case other than adding more and more resources specifically related to event bridge. So what I want to do today is, I have an API gateway, I have a bunch of other resources. Let's add, or let's use another serverless integration with an API gateway, which is called event bridge. So what I want to do is that I'm still building webhook. Okay, so I have put some files here just as a temporary. So I have CLI, which I will use just like this, HTTP, which will send request to an API gateway, and then API gateway will send a request to event bridge. And event bridge is pretty amazing service, I have to say, because just yesterday I figured out some of useful features of it, and I will show it in a second. So once event is sent to event bridge, then event bridge will send a request to, or will match this with certain rules, and one of the rule will say to send this request to another HTTP webhook listener, like API integration. So let me go to the browser and show it to you what exactly I'm thinking about. So, well, this, okay, yes. So if I go to event bridge, okay, and then inside of event bridge, if I go to default, and well, that's not it, then I go to rules, and I can create rule. So this kind of thing has been before for quite a long time in CloudWatch events, and then in event bridge, which is just a rebranding of the same service. Specifically, what is interesting here, think about this. When you send, like especially if you're working with serverless, you have to do your best to not write things which you have to maintain, right? I mean, that's the whole point of pretty much all SRE and all avoid unnecessary work and so on. Imagine that you have event, or you have rule which you say test rule, and you say that as soon as event will be matched to certain pattern, well, I don't know which pattern, but probably it will be custom event, and then I can specify some pattern which is source webhook. It doesn't really matter yet. Is not valid JSON. Well, I think it is. No. Provided event pattern is not valid JSON. For me, it looks like JSON. No. Okay. Source. Okay, yeah, then it's probably like this. No. Okay, let's figure out source. Let's copy this stuff, cancel, details, some details. Okay, yeah, this one worked. I don't know why I should specify detail type. Let's see. No, I should specify detail type and then some details. Okay, so I'm just making a rule for now. Like, this is absolutely a normal thing. Events will be sent to this event bridge, and then as soon as interesting. Yeah, okay. So now I cannot delete the last character here. Quite interesting bug. Okay, yeah, here it looks okay, but when I edit it, it just corrupted. So this is the tricky part. Okay, select target means that we need to specify once this event match certain pattern, then what should be called. We have Lambda function, which is like normal thing, as well as bunch of other ways to send this event to, like SNS, SQS, and you can even call step function from there. But what I was actually interested in is API destination. So imagine that you make your serverless integrations with another endpoint without writing any single line of code. That's exactly what I want to do. So I want to create a new API destination because, well, I didn't have any. And then here I write tests me. It's gonna to be this kind of thing. So this one, HTTP method should be post, no rate limits. Yeah, there should be some connection. It's a little bit unfortunate that you cannot make an API integration without specifying connection, so that if this is publicly open, you cannot use it. And you may ask, like, why I'm showing you console? Well, the first thing is that it's not available in Terraform in any way. This has been released, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago by AWS. So when I discovered this yesterday, I was like, wow, that's exactly what I want. And then I look into Terraform, and obviously there is no support for this yet, but still there are a lot of people voting and saying that, yeah, we need this immediately. So that's why I'm showing this in browser as is. Of course, I can script it, but I don't want to spend time on this. So I will do this, and I will just go back to Terraform in a second. So connection name, it's again tests me. And I need to specify some authorization type. There is no way to say like, hey, authorization is not required, which is a bit strange to me, I have to say, but luckily SME accept anything. I mean, it's publicly available, so it will not validate any of your authorization type which you provide. So I'll just say test user and then okay, and then I can also specify what kind of parameters or what kind of event manipulation I want to make. This is extremely complicated thing, and I'm not familiar with it myself, so every time I spend like significant amount of time just figuring out what kind of configuration input or request manipulation I have to do. So yeah, I usually send everything to that endpoint and then modify it one by one. Okay, and that's it, right? So yeah, there is not else. Okay, no, that's not it. Right, so that's it. Yeah, okay, good. So now when I create this rule, what I actually created is that I created API destination. So I create API destination where I point that everything, not everything, sorry, that well, that there should be some authorization and that secrets are actually present. Then I specified connection. So all of this I made when I was creating rules. So a rule itself is possible to create using Event Bridge and using Terraform. But yeah, for this demo, I decided to just make it using console because it's a little bit more visual than in Terraform. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So now let's go back to the code, and in the code we need to do the following. So what I will be doing is that now I have an API gateway which I can call So if I call this endpoint, and I can just specify okay, so that's it. And which one? Oh, right, there is no. Right, so I can verify that API Gateway works. I sent X signature header just for fun. There is no real reason for that right now. And now let's make changes to API Gateway, and specifically let's add integration with Event Bridge. So for that I want to copy some of this code and put it somewhere in API Gateway. Okay, so here I will put it at the end, and it will be doing the following. So it will be post to /webhook URL, and it will be using subtype event bridge put events. That's correct. And events which will be sent there is going to be accepting everything inside of the body of event. So, and that's a tricky part. You can specify what kind of event content or payload of the event itself should be. So that's why I do this detail everything in the body. But there is no way, or at least I didn't find the way, how I can make my own JSON here. So what I want to do is that I want to send JSON of special format. So for example, I want to say request body to be included, but I also want to make something like, well, let's see, headers column, and then request header X signature, and then body. So that's exactly what I wanted to do. I want to send custom event which consists of header. I mean, I'm interested in just one header, and I also want to send body as the rest of it. Something like this. So unfortunately, I couldn't make this to work. So if anyone knows better solution or what to write in this detail, please let me know. I am kind of interested in finding better solution, because I want to make validation of the signature of this request, which is sent to my webhook endpoint before triggering it through event bridge and so on. So that's kind of what I have to do, request body. Okay, and now let's see. So detail is specified, source is webhook, and yeah, that's it. Okay, what else remaining here? Credential IRN, it should be, well, it should be IAM role for the API gateway, which will be assumed, and this IRN or this role will be able to put events. So I need to put API gateway put events to event bridge IAM role. Really amazing file name, I know, but I don't know better solution. So I think as of now, this code is already started to look ugly, and well, it's kind of on purpose, but on the same note, I don't want to spend time thinking about how to refactor this hello world application. In real life, I usually do this differently, but I mean, I use Terraform for most of this anyway. Okay, so here we have this role, and I'm using submodule, and I provide custom role policy IRN, which is another submodule, and this is allowed here. Okay, cool. So this is what I want. Okay, Terraform init. So it's a little bit tricky to figure out what to write here and how it will work. But if you make it step by step, then it's quite straightforward. If you add one resource after another and not all of this at once, it's not so complicated, I think. Okay, so it's gonna to create some role policy as well as integration with this detail and detail type. Okay, so detail and detail type. Okay, let's see how it will succeed. Okay, so yeah, I was able to make this thing, but now let's do the following. So now if I go to the browser and I want to verify that things were created as I expected, if I go to API Gateway, here is my awesome API Gateway, and here we have an integration, and we have one integration with Webhook. So it says post will be sent to event bridge. That's pretty cool. So what else I can specify here? Right, okay, yeah, that's it. So now let's try to call it and see how it works. Okay, I want to be doing HTTP to this endpoint, which is webhook. And if I send empty event, it says parameter detail is not valid. Detail is required argument. Well, detail is required argument. Okay, good luck debugging it. And now, if I try to send my sample webhook data, this is it. So if I go to upload this file, which is inside of tmp slash sample webhook JSON. Let's see. Yes, it works. Okay. So what was the problem here is that parameter detail is not valid. It means that I didn't provide any payload while I was trying to forward it to event bridge. So that was an error which I got. Okay, and when I provided the data correctly using this sample webhook file, then this event was sent correctly. So now let's look into event bridge side. Oh my god, again, I forgot to share the screen, but yes. Okay, so one more time. Inside of terminal, what I did for the first time when I upload or when I send this post request without any argument, then I got this error back because parameter detail was not specified, and detail is specified as request body, but body was empty. So this means that detail was empty too, and it was required. And well, it is required. So source and detail is required. And if I do this with content of the file, then when I trigger this, when I send this payload, I get decent feedback from the API Gateway and from Event Bridge. As you can see, it's working fine. So now if I go to to event bridge side, and here I can see that well, this event was not event, sorry, this rule, whether it was triggered or not. If I go to this page, as you can see, there is nothing going on. And the reason for that one is that this event did not match, or this event which I sent did not match the event pattern which I was expecting. So I need to specify it somehow differently. Can I write something like this? Yeah, cool. So that's the way how it should be doing. There was a bug when I created this before, but now it seems to work. So what I want to do is that I want to see if source of, or not source, if API Gateway will call event bridge with source webhook, then this event rule will match, pattern will match, and then target will be notified. So now after I edit this one and I wait for 2-3 seconds, it's applied, and now if I call it one more time, and if I go to SME, I should see this. Yes, here is it. So this event was successfully forwarded from my CLI through API Gateway, through event bridge, and then to SME endpoint. So as you can see here, detail, data, I have all content of my request which I just sent from my command line. So that's pretty much the whole integration. I think it's extremely useful to be able to let AWS as well as Event Bridge servers to actually call API destinations on behalf of you as soon as you provide some authorization mechanism, and it will be able to do this quite nicely. I got some issues with it before, but I think it will be polished like in the near future. Specifically, I didn't get enough flexibility when I was creating this API destination target, because I want to have, I want to disable even, if I go to view details, sorry, where is it? If I go to this integration and then connection, and here if I go to authorization type, as I said earlier, I'd like to have some flexibility here. And specifically, I'm interested in providing authorization type dynamically as well, because I don't want to use basic or OAuth client credentials or even API key, because this is too static. I want to have it dynamic. I know that I can use, or I'm already using actually AWS Secret Manager service, and I can change my credentials using API by calling Secret Manager to change my credential, and then this integration will pick it up, but it's a little bit too much overhead. But in general, I find it extremely helpful that using Event Bridge, I can now simply call any other endpoint without writing. As you see, I'm actually quite lazy. I mean, I'm a software developer myself for many years, but I don't think I ever showed how I write code, because, well, I don't write so often code in, and that's why it just, it's really good for me if I can avoid it completely. So let's see, is it possible to use Event Bridge to post events into private resources inside AWS VPC? Well, I don't think it is possible, because at least I didn't see this as an option. Let's take a look. So when I create, I'm creating API destination, and here test VPC, So here I have to provide API destination endpoint. Like, what can it be? I mean, yeah, it's definitely not possible to do for private because there are no relation to VPC or, well, no, I don't think it is possible. But yeah, that's one of the feature which is missing right now, because I find it also quite useful that you could be able to do this. Maybe you can do this here if you, let's say, manage integration. No, if you, let's see, where can I do this? Okay, I will edit manage integration, and then I will edit this one. No, that's not it. If I delete this one, no, I cannot do this. How can I do this? Yeah, here we can use an API gateway to send request in VPC. That's what we can do. But using event bridge in VPC, it's not possible. So yeah, that's okay. I think overall that's what I wanted to show today, and let me finish this stream by adding quite simple thing, but I mean I did it many times, but I think it's quite useful for everyone to see as well. So what I want to do is that I want to add ACM as well as proper domain name for this HTTP endpoint. So the way how I can do this is the following. I need to go to example, of course, and there is no better place than example, and I go to copy some of ACM stuff as well as some of Route 53 stuff. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So what I want to do now is that inside of my project I will make another file, and I will call it ACM TF, and here I will well, domain name. Okay, I will specify some domain name. So what this is gonna to be doing is yeah, so I will just make domain name. Well, there are so many variables: domain name, subdomain. Let's see which one is it. Okay, so here is it. If I now go to main TF, because usually that's the place where I have some locals. I already own this domain, Terraform AWS modules TF, and I will be using it. And for that one, I will say serverless playground. Yeah, I know it's pretty long, but it should be fine. Okay, so now if I run this code with Terraform init, so that's actually the beauty part, or the most interesting part, is once I created many different pieces of code, all I have to do is just copy paste code between different projects, between different customers, and if I make something new, then I publish it as open source, and that's it. So here we have, oh yeah, right. It says that this thing is not correct, and that's true because I need to specify domain name and certificate. So my API gateway will now have this certificate. We still have 5 minutes left for this stream, so I need to finish it in 5 minutes. It should be done soon. Okay, so what's going on right now? ACM is Amazon Certificate Manager, is gonna to create certificate which is valid for the whole domain name, which is for the whole domain name. Plus, it will also create it for subdomain, which is in our case serverless playground.something. Once this certificate is created, then it will create Route 223 records to validate it, and once this is done, then it will validate this, and then it will use this certificate inside of API Gateway. And let's go to the browser and see how things are progressing here. If we go to custom domain names, here we can see that it's already using this certificate. Now it's creating some more information, and that's it. Well, it's not enough. I want to actually see this. So if I want to see this, I go to an API. I need to add domain name here as well as Route 223 record, because I want to see this domain name here and actually use it. So I just added some outputs and I run Terraform apply to get them created, to get this output visible, I mean. So, well, in all of this I need to find API FQDN, which is this one, or actually API endpoint, and go to it. It says message forbidden, but we know that we can use this now here. So let's send webhook. It says forbidden. Why it says forbidden? It's interesting. Forbidden by who? Forbidden. What can be forbidden? Forbidden exception. What? What can be forbidden? Let's see. If I go to an API gateway configuration here, so the certificate has been created and it has been attached, and Route 53 has been updated. As you can see, serverless playground.something is there, and also there were records created, so it should be fine. I can go to where I can look for this. Usually if it says 4 or 3, I start my investigation by just going to CloudWatch. Did you map custom domain with an API? Well, I think I did. That's do I need to do anything else here? Probably not. But if I go to this URL, yeah, this works. Do I need to deploy it? Maybe I need to deploy it, but it's actually, it's default, so it's auto deploy. Well, sometimes I need to just wait, but it has been already a long time, so it should be some misconfiguration somewhere. Okay. So what can it be? Let's see here. Domain name. Custom domain names are not here, but in custom domain names. Yeah, that's where I am. Custom domain names, yes, here. API mapping, it's already here. So it was properly saved before. Is this going to work? No. HTTPS. Okay, so this one is at least not found. What means not found? No. Okay, let me show how I usually do this, and maybe it will do the trick now also. So if I go to CloudWatch, and in CloudWatch, if I go to log groups, here I have, well, is it this one? 14, no, that's, I have disabled even this guy from, so let me go here. Yeah, I don't have logs created, so it's not gonna to help me so much. Okay, what else can be the problem here? If I just compare it with example, which I happily said that everything is gonna to be working because I copied from example, but apparently it does not work. Well, what means forbidden? Forbidden means that I don't have enough permissions to... do I have this one? It should be false. It should be false inside of false. Yes, it's false. Serverless playground. Domain name is... but you are mapping... Yeah, exactly. I see that I'm doing something wrong with an API. So here, domain name, it should be full, right? It should be with it should be this one. It should be combination of this, right? So it should be subdomain and then dot something, right? So if I go to, no, I don't have this one. Okay, so serverless playground, it should be as it should be here. If I search for domain name, so domain name here. Okay, so the whole domain name is just wrong. It should be this one. It should be subdomain dot something, right? Well, how did it work before? I don't know. Does it look good to you, Artem? Do you think it's about right? So I specify subdomain dot something, and now I will recreate domain name and record. And record, yeah, right. Let's see. Okay, while it's doing something, let's go to around 53. So maybe I can see something here. Yeah, now it should work. Yeah, thanks for the support. I have no clue how it worked before. Okay, so here I have this record pointing to correct one, but certificate was yeah, so these records are correct, and now it's creating well, it will take some time here. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, if it works, then I will be happy, and it works. Good. So yeah, the problem was quite obvious. Why I didn't see this issue before? Well, apparently examples are wrong. This happens, of course. But yeah, it makes perfect sense to point it like this. Okay, thank you very much, Artyom, for your kind of second pair of eyes, as they say. It was good. I'm glad that I learned something here. Okay. So yeah, let's wrap up, and hopefully we'll have pretty interesting talk next time together with Stefan, and this will be about DriftCTL. And on this note, I want to thank everyone for your time, and see you next week. Bye.